So welcome everyone. This is our first report out of the Book Dash. We've been running the Book Dash since Monday, and I had to do the calculation because I had a quick presentation to do. We have had 27 pull requests. Four or five have been closed, so we have a lot of work to do, but not today. Today is the day to celebrate whatever we worked on. We will start by introducing everybody because there are a few folks who have just joined, which is amazing. And then we will first go around the room, introduce ourselves, and then we'll have another round where people will tell us what they've worked on, where they need help and support, what their experiences have been. And if they're comfortable, they can also share their screen. Okay, I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Malvika. I'm a community manager of the Turing Way. And I have been delighted to coordinate the Book Dash in the last 5 days. Kirstie.
Yeah, my name is Kirstie Whitaker. I lead the Tools, Practices and Systems Research Programme at the Turing Institute. And I conceived of the Turing Way about 2 years ago now. And it is unbelievable how much it's grown and sort of consolidated with so many amazing people contributing and taking it forward. So thank you so much to everyone.
Can we hear from Kangana? And please correct my pronunciation for that.
No, that's fine. My name is Gabriel. I am a research engineering community manager working here at the Turing Institute. And I've been very interested about the Turing Way for a while. So it's a good opportunity for me, how you guys contributed to this. I know this is going from strength to strength, and I'm really, really interested to see how this develops. I think it will be important not just for the Turing, but for many, many people out there who want to take inspiration from this. So I'm really keen to hear how you found this experience so far.
Welcome. Daisy.
Hi, yeah. Sorry, I would have my video on, but my Wi-Fi is awful, so it's the only way it sort of works if I don't. But hi, I'm Daisy. I'm a program manager. I work with Gabrielle with the research engineering group. I'm sort of the same, just tuning in to learn a little bit more about what the Turing Way is and just to sort of see what people are working on. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Thanks, Daisy. Jess.
Hi, I am Jez Cope. I'm Data Services Lead at the British Library. I've been contributing to the Turing Way when I can for a while now. And I'm really excited to see what you've all got up to this week.
Irene.
Hi, I'm Irene. I'm a final year undergraduate. I'm majoring in information science and engineering. I'm from India. This was my first time working with an open source project, and I was working with the ethics book, and I had a great time. Yeah.
Sarah.
Hey everyone, I'm Sarah Gibson. I'm a research software engineer in the research engineering team at the Turing, and I have been involved with the Turing Way since it began as well, had helped launch the book, and I've particularly helped on the infrastructure side and getting involved with Project Binder for computational reproducibility.
Ismail.
Hi, my name is Ismail. I'm ethics research assistant at the Alan Turing Institute, and in the Turing Way, I try to help out with the guide for ethical research.
Emma.
Hi, I'm Emma Croon. I'm a postdoctoral researcher in the field of paleoecology. I'm also working on or part of OLS2 as a project lead for creating community awareness in my field of open sciences. And this week I've been working on a new chapter as part of the collaboration guide about getting started with GitHub.
Laura.
Hi, I'm Laura Sion. I'm a mid-career researcher at the University of Buenos Aires in Argentina. where I am right now. I work in health data science and artificial intelligence in academia, and I'm trying to move towards open science, and that's why the Turing Way, it's a great place to be. I have been working um, mostly with a chapter on about leadership in data science for the guide, and also looking around the ethics work.
And finally, Paul. Well, we have Asha, so finally, not finally, Paul. Paul first.
Hi everyone, my name is Paul. I've been interning as a technical writer on the Turnway book project for the past month, over a bit over a month now, and I've been working to make the book as accessible and accessible as possible for readers and contributors. And yeah, I've had a lot of fun this week. It's exciting to see that my work has immediate. It's exciting to see the immediate effect that my work has had over the past week. So
Now, Asha.
Hi everyone, I'm Asha Titus. I'm a researcher at the LSE. I'm entirely new to the Turing Way. I got introduced to it through the book dash, and I've been helping out with the ethics chapter and trying to learn GitHub so I can contribute to that. I'm also doing a PhD looking at datafication of government, data ethics issues when data science projects are embedded within like public administration at scale. And I was hoping to contribute case studies, and yeah, that's been my involvement with the Turing Way so far. But I'm quite excited at the voice network and the open working culture of this group. And I'm quite keen to be involved and like, yeah, stay in the loop with all the conversations.
Thank you. So now is the chance for this is a celebration space, but also I would like to call it a brag space because I know you all have worked very hard. So take a moment to really enjoy this. I'm actually going to go reverse. Um, I'm going to start with Asha. Would you like to share what you've worked on, like in a minute or two? And if you've created any PR or issues, you are welcome to share your screen too.
I created my first PR, like literally for the very first time. I do have a very rudimentary coding background. Thank you. But it took me a long time to like actually figure out how to interact with the Turing Way GitHub. So I would write things in a Word document and then try and copy paste into a comment. But I did write like a activist chapter. The issue number is not is here, but I will put that in the chat, and that's my brag that I managed to actually contribute something and like integrate it into GitHub. It took a long time, so I'm very proud of myself.
We are very proud of you. Amazing. I'm going to Paul, and I know, Paul, you've had a massive week, so please take as much time you want to talk about it and share all the challenges and frustration around that too.
okay. So I started the week out with creating good first issues to sort of help new contributors have an easy way to contribute to the Turing Way. Let me quickly share my screen. Um, yeah, so issues are basically more about catching typos in the Turing Way, fixing the structure, etc. And then after that, I worked on a new chapter template. So that's to help people who want to write new chapters for the Turing Way. It gives them like things to think about while they write. Let me find it real quick. I think I closed it. And yeah, it was approved yesterday, so I've merged it, so it's officially part of the Turnway repository now. And I'm also working on a consistency chapter, which is supposed to guide new contributors as well, as they write content for the Turnway, and also gives them ideas on what to look out for as they help make the Turnway as consistent as possible. I've really appreciated this week because it's like cool to see other people like use my templates, comment on my templates, give me feedback, and it's. Oh, I think this week has it has moved really quickly towards me working faster, and so like I'm really grateful for that. So
Paul, while you're sharing your screen, do you want to show the documentation on the GitHub repository? Because I think it's really, really cool.
okay.
So if you go
Cool.
to the main repository. Yeah.
So I'll show the template, which is for writing new chapters, and it basically describes what the chapter is in the certain way, how it fits in the overall structure, and gives um it gives contributors things to think about as well as they write. So, for example, on the landing page, it tells you what sections your chapter should contain, um, gives you ideas on sources to check, things that the section should contain, etc. And also it has I also created prompts in the form of comments, so they don't appear here right now, but then it's sort of like a checklist that when contributors look at that and they can check through all the items in the checklist and be sure that the chapter has everything that it needs to contain before they make their pull request. um, I think I can show what the consistency chapter looks like.
Oh yeah, you would have preview.
Yeah. Mm. So this is the chapter on maintaining consistency, and yeah, it's supposed to help new contributors, give them ideas on what to look for in existing chapters in terms of achieving consistency in the Turnway book as a whole. So we've broken down we basically curated a consistency checklist, and that was based over my activities over the past month. And with the checklist, we've broken them down into formatting, structure, and language, and we've also divided them into hard and soft requirements. And based on that, we've um, explained what contributors should look for as they go through, as they review existing chapters in the Turnway, and as they also write new content as well. Um, so, yeah.
That's amazing. That's just so amazing. It's going to be so useful for so many people. Um, I'm going to stop you from sharing. Yeah. Yeah, let's first of all, amazing work, but I'm also going to open the floor for a few questions and answers or ideas that you might want to share with Paul. Okay, this is not gonna end in the call, but you can also go in the HackMD and leave some notes or use the chat. I'm gonna give Ismail a bump in the list because Ismail has to leave sooner. Ismail, Take it away.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so really briefly, I put together, and I'm trying to share my screen. Let's see if I can do this smoothly. I put together an introduction for the book on the guide to ethical research. And I've been thinking about this for quite some time, mostly because of work. And the idea that I just want to introduce in the first page about research ethics, ethical research, is that there are two really important terms out there in academia and that we encounter all the time, which are responsible research and innovation and research integrity. So I can literally just leave it on this table here, which I am secretly proud of, even though it can like be questioned in review. This is all ready for review, so none of this is actually published. But the idea simply being that these are two terms that kind of highlight different questions, which ultimately we always need to keep into account when doing our work. So for example, responsible research and innovation might ask us how we're treating data subjects, research subjects, whilst research integrity is really about how we treat each other in our work. And I do, of course, link, when talking about this, I link the Turing-Way's Code of Conduct as an example. So I hope it's straightforward, it makes sense, I don't get anything too wrong. And yeah, this is pull request 1228. By all means, do go in there, tell me what's wrong, what needs improving. Yeah, I look forward to hearing from everyone about that.
Because I know, Ismail, how much you had to research to write that thing. And because I know not much about ethics, would you like to share the process if someone has to, or if you have to redo this whole thing, what could be most efficient way to go about this?
Please, no one try to redo the whole full thing. It's just not worth it. I think because of the work I do and what I'm studying, I've been able to find this interesting conceptual distinction between research, integrity and responsible research and innovation. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's not completely separate. And we always need to think about the two. I think what I try to do here is just, okay, we have this big idea. Let's actually break it down into questions which as researchers we will potentially face. So I'm not going to ask for a show of hands of who's heard of RRI and research integrity, but I do think that they are generally used terms around in research. And I think that by breaking down the big question of what is research ethics and ethical research to what these two concepts are, with the ultimate idea being we can't let go of either one or the other when doing research. It's just an interesting way to start thinking about research ethics. And I'll stop there, otherwise I can ramble on and I will repeat myself continuously, which is not helpful.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're the one doing this and I'm not. Any questions, feedback for Ismail? Yes, Esther. Esther, please introduce yourself first because we didn't have a chance to hear from you, and then ask a question.
But I'm excited about my question. Okay, sorry. My name is Esther. I'm not joining you this week, unfortunately, because there was already 6 other events. I'm not sure what's going on with this week, but they thought let's put everything in this week, so I couldn't join. I'm a data steward. I'm based in the Netherlands at the Delft University of Technology. I'm supporting researchers with their research data management, so I'm mostly interested in the research data management sections of the Turing Way. And my question was whether this text was based on a blog or a text that you shared earlier to Twitter, because I really enjoyed reading that. Well done.
Okay, yeah, you're probably like one of the very few people on the planet who've ever read that. But yes, that is basically it. So it was a series of thoughts that I'd had in the past. I did check this with someone at the Institute, so with one of our ethics fellows, and I said, hey, I thought of this distinction. Does it make sense? He didn't shoot down the idea immediately. So that for me is a massive like good sign. So yeah, that is what it is, and I have put together a little blog post which I will link to this. And in the blog post, I do kind of question the distinction, but I clarify why I make the distinction. It's just purely, let's say, pedagogical, just to think of when teaching, speaking, reflecting on research ethics, this distinction does help us see different questions that we should always just keep in mind. In the post, in my post in particular, but also in this introduction, I do mention, I do a silly kind of metaphor, and I speak of like responsible research and integrity as a hat, and RRI as a hat and research integrity as goggles. We always need to wear the two. We can't have the one without the other and pretend we're doing ethical research. And this, I'm now dubbing this officially. It's online. Steampunk research ethics. That's what it's all about. Yeah, that's me.
Thanks, Ismail. Laura?
Okay, I haven't prepared much, really, so I will share and try to make a summary. I won't be as articulated, I promise. So it's been a great week, and it's sad to see it go, but it started before and it will continue after. So I'm very glad I came along. I started showing at the collaboration co-working spaces. Please talk if there's something in the chat that I should pay attention to. I won't be paying attention to the chat. So there, because in the Turing way, when you join, there is Malvika that gets to know you and then tries to meet you where you are and tries to find something that you can contribute to that would be helpful for you. This is how she proposed me to start writing some thoughts for a chapter in the Turing Way, the leadership in data science, that was looking for some content since the last book dash, I think. And so I started working on that in the collaboration cafes. Malvika also worked on that. And in academia, you don't want to leave stuff online until it's very, very polished. So like the first couple of days, I kind of struggled a little bit, like, well, give me a second. I need to reread everything. I need to check Paul's guidelines and templates to make sure that the chapter looks good before putting any PR out there. There's this HackMD you can check with all the work that has been done so far. And Malvika say, well, maybe, we need more collaboration, and definitely we need more collaboration. So she graciously started the PR for me. And then there was a lot of subchapters that needed the content from here. So I started, checking them through and uploading the content that was worked from before. And also Lupe also joined the book dash, and she's also contributing her um, leadership experiences. So this chapter is this is still a PR that needs to be reviewed, and a lot of more love, and thank you. I need to go back to the reviews that have been already contributed.
Laura, you can scroll up and click on the Netlify file. You do have it open. Sorry for jumping.
That's okay. Any help welcome, don't worry. So the leadership in data science chapter only had this subchapter when at the beginning of the week. And now it has all these other subchapters and a ton of content, but you see, there's still stuff to fix. And this is mostly a collection of ideas and thoughts. I'm not a scholar in leadership at all. This is mostly out of experience leading different stuff for a person who's 44 years old. And like having experience in the streets really more than anything else. And I haven't had a lot of readings, and I was very scared when Malvika wrote this to my plan saying, I need readings. I mean, how am I going to write something if I never read something? Turned out I did have some readings already, and then there's contributions from Malvika. I learned a lot from Kirstie this week as well, and I know all of you will be able to contribute more to it. There's a lot to be done still, so please dig in and help us make this chapter a lot better. So something else that happened this week was working with Jam from Scriberia. They are like the most amazing artists I ever met. And, you just talk to them and they create beautiful things, beautiful cartoons that explain and show what's going on. This one, it's this is and I have a mate, which is something this happened too. There was a lot of networking and really cool stories, and we got to learn a lot from different people. I think this is Marilina, this is Laura, this is Emma, and I think this is Kirstie, and this is Luna, right? If I'm getting everyone right, otherwise please correct me. So and there's with Kirstie and Jem, we also worked in a cartoon for the leadership chapter. So I'm very thrilled. It's in the making, I think. So, but there's a ton of these new cartoons that they are open, they can be reusable, modified, and all the good things. So it's really amazing. And so something else, Laura Carter, she will tell you all about what she's been doing with Ismail and a lot of others, have been working on the ethics. And I need to review everything now, Asha too. So I now am acquainted with all of them, and I need to, and will be putting my eyes into this. I didn't get to it, but I will definitely keep working. And Malvika, anything else I should definitely say before I stop sharing?
I think it's so much work. I am just very amazed. Thank you so much. And I totally agree with Laura. I think in the conversation, we wanted to acknowledge that everybody has played some sort of leadership roles. They just don't know it. And we need a lot of examples, because these chapters are not useful if people can't relate with them or can't identify what leadership roles they are playing. So if you would like to share, join us and add your example. You don't need to do a PR or GitHub issues if you're not very comfortable. We can help you document it somehow. But amazing work, Laura. Really, really amazing.
Thank you. I forgot to mention that we also connected with a lot of people that speak other languages other than English. And so translations are big and growing. And particularly, well, I'm Spanish team, sorry. A little bit of French too, maybe. But so please keep moving the translations forward, because there's a ton of people a lot more people that will benefit if it's in other languages. So with that, thank you very much, folks. It's been super lovely.
Thanks, Laura. Emma.
Hello. So I've kind of been working this week on accessibility with Paul, and also Kirstie, Malvika, Kim spoke to you lovely today about that, and Laura's helped me. So I've been writing this new chapter. I'll share my screen, show you the preview. Yeah. So can you see that now?
It's opening.
Opening. Sorry, I have this like really bad computer. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you can see it's going to be a chapter that fits at the beginning of the collaboration guide, because it's really about trying to onboard people who don't really have any sort of computer coding skills, and try and make GitHub be a little bit less scary for those sorts of people, which actually was me really a few months ago. So and my sort of work with open life science and developing my sort of project in that has helped me to develop my skills in GitHub. So I thought it would be valuable to write a guide for other people, because it seems like this is a bit of a barrier to people using these sorts of research tools. So the preview is there, and it's ready to be reviewed. I think it's pretty ready to go. I've been fixing, or Paul fixed some of the images, and I fixed another link this morning. So I think all of the, what I tried to concentrate on was kind of like, you know, like those books, the dummy guides to all those sorts of things that you need to know about. I tried to sort of think about how they try and explain things. Oh, it's not going to work now. Sorry. And so what I've done is I've done instructions, but I've also done annotated diagrams, and I'm hoping they will come out well enough on there so you can see them. And these diagrams, what they do is they're like screenshots of GitHub, where and what I've tried to do, because when I first sort of approached GitHub, I found all the buttons incredibly scary, and there's also multiple ways of doing everything. So what I've tried to do, I've done instructions, but I've also done these annotated diagrams just to show and explain very simply what all these buttons actually do, and how you actually, which buttons you have to press to do things. So it really is sort of like a dummy's guide to getting started in GitHub. So they're sort of more making, so it concentrates on setting up your repository to start off with, and then it sort of goes on to making a README file, adding a license, and then it sort of goes on to slightly more advanced things like developing, using more features. Oh, I shouldn't have clicked, but using more features and things like that. So that's kind of what I've been doing. So I'm hoping that's going to be really helpful for a lot of people. So I think I'll probably advertise it quite a lot and get it linked into different places so that people can see it's there to exist, that they can use it. So hopefully soon. The other thing I have started doing as well is looking at the glossary. Is this one? Yeah, so so the idea is that really what I've found using and sort of moving more into open science and using different tools is that actually I need to find out all these words, and we've talked a lot this week about open science being a whole new skill set, and so obviously it has a whole new language as well that you have to learn. So I kind of noticed when I was reading the Turing Way before this week that actually the glossary at the end wasn't very full. So what I've sort of suggested doing is and I think Malvika and Kirstie are happy, is to put everything right at the end. So basically I've spent the rest of my time trying to grab all the keywords out of all of the chapters and put them in a document, which is a Google document at the end at the moment. So now it's like 14 pages long, so it's getting quite big, but I'm only on the second guide, so it's going to be quite big, I think. So yeah, so I will try and put that into a pull request so that other people can add things. So if you want to add any stuff, you should be able to do it by the end of the day. So, yeah. And also me and Paul, we had a really interesting conversation the other day, because my other hat, as well as being a researcher, is being a science teacher, and I actually work as a special needs teacher, so I know a lot about accessibility issues that people have in terms of visual and learning disabilities. So we were talking about how is the Turing Way accessible for people who have got visual impairment? How might it be accessible for people who have dyslexia? Because they have certain ways of reading that which are better for them. So I think that's something which I would like to continue doing with the Turing Way, because it's something I do have quite a lot of expertise in that I could probably add in. And I know there's quite a lot of work at the moment. I heard a really good talk at a conference recently, which was from some librarians who were thinking about how do people with certain disabilities actually access academic publications. And Paul was telling me that he's trying to include text to go with all of the images so that they are totally accessible. So I think that's the sort of way forward that I would like to go in the future. Thank you. preparing now.
Thanks, Emma. Can I share a huge compliment, which I wish we all could do. I have never, well, I won't say never. I really admire how proactively you approach issues and problems. I think complaining is so easy, but then you try to find solution, and it's really, really inspiring.
Thank you.
Great job.
Well, I'm a independent researcher, so I have no one to ask usually. So that helps me.
Any questions, suggestion, feedback for Emma?
Maybe also the CSCCE guide that they recently published on accessibility. I'll link it in the chat. Other than that, it looks amazing. Thanks.
So I'm just going to quickly check with Kirstie. Do we take a like 5 minutes break now?
No. Well, I was just thinking if we've got 2 hours as a slot, and I was thinking if we could take a break maybe at the top of the hour, or maybe
yeah, absolutely.
Hour, maybe.
Yeah.
The thing that I sent you a private message about, that's what's going on there, is I would love to take a photo of this a screen grab of everyone, and people tend to leave at the very end, and so I'm super nervous that if we leave at the very end, then we will miss it. So I don't know, whilst I'm just talking now, should I just take a screenshot now rather than keep waiting? What do people think, since I'm already talking about it? All right, I'm gonna just set it all up. So
I think Sam might be too early and Ismail will be back.
Yeah, Ismail may be back.
Should we wait for
I feel like I should do my hair. Sorry.
Let's wait for Ismail to come back, actually, because I'd like, yeah, that sounds okay. So that's a little heads up. That's all. But and then I think, yeah, maybe I don't know, 10 minutes or so we could take a little break and go do some stretching or something like that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Esther, for the link. I'm going to Sarah.
Hello. So I did probably what is my biggest pull request review ever. My colleague is sat on the windowsill getting some sun. So just over there. Yes, I did my biggest pull request review ever, I believe. So it's on this, just to check, you can see the PR number 1567. Yeah. So this is a PR that we were bringing together loads of other PRs that have been opened about the remote collaboration chapter, and they've been knocking about for a while, and we just decided to do this big pull request because they've been, people have been using them, but they're not quite, they haven't made it into the book yet. So we were like, we really wanted to get this into the book, and I did a huge 57 comment review, 95% of which is mostly like spelling and grammar and like punctuation corrections. There's like only a few comments that are like, what shall we do about this section? But I'm like wildly excited to get all of this fantastic information into the book. So I think that was my biggest contribution this week.
And just on the side, you've also been cleaning up old PRs.
Yeah, my old PRs.
Amazing. Also, Sarah was around here mentoring new contributors, hanging out, holding space for people to ask questions. So thank you so much, Sarah, for keep doing all these amazing things that we're super grateful for. And that PR is massive.
Huge. But it's going to be so amazing when it gets merged.
Everyone, you all have 9 months of experience working remotely. So I think everyone's eligible to contribute something in there. Do keep an eye out, because I think same as the leadership chapter, this chapter can benefit a lot from the examples from your life. Moving on, Irene. representing the whole other part of the world.
Yeah. Hi. I'm just gonna. Give me a second. Yeah, is this visible? So I was working on the data anonymization chapter for the Guide for Ethical Research. So I found data anonymization really important during all of the data science projects that I was working on, because I felt like it got overlooked too often for something that seemed far too important. And actually, it's pretty easy to do in some cases. So I tried to outline what anonymization means, which is basically trying to ensure that your data is not providing really sensitive and invasive information about your volunteers, and trying to outline why it's useful for a data science researcher to be able to do it, and why it's useful in terms of sharing your data online to facilitate open research, and just trying to outline the different laws that require it, and the different guidelines that have been provided, like legally for it. And then there are a lot of considerations that needs to go into before you anonymize your data, in terms of what kind of data you have, the nature of that data, what techniques exist. Then after that, there's always, so I was talking about this with Laura Carter, and she was telling me about how there's a lot of ambiguity about data anonymization in general, simply because a lot of people don't believe that it works. And for a very real reason, there are a lot of re-identification risks. So what I've found is that with people that I've done data science projects with, if they've done a precursory data anonymization thing, they really think that it's enough. It's very important to understand that there are always risks involved in it. What kind of risks? There are just a lot of models that you can go into in understanding the risk of re-identifying your data. So I tried to elaborate on that. And again, there are a lot of misconceptions regarding data anonymization, in terms of if I anonymize my data, it might not be useful for data analytics in the future. So I tried to address that. And then I just provided some anonymization tools. Neha really helped me with this one. Yeah, so that's the work I've done so far.
That's amazing. Extremely, extremely useful. Great job. Any comment, feedback, personal experience that you want Irene to take into her project? So I'll start. I think it's really big chapter and might benefit from breaking down into smaller subchapters. And then you can really, all these different topics that you talked about are so important, but they are star by themselves. Those information shouldn't be lost in a big chapter. So I can see that you're gonna have a little bit of work, but it is massive amount of work done in last 4 days. Amazing. I'm gonna move to Marilena, but please add comments, share some love with all these work that you've done. And then, yeah, Marilena, go for it.
Marilena, I'm new here. I'm very, very happy. I remember being on Twitter and read a tweet of Laura Asion saying something like, this is a great group. Maybe you don't understand what they are doing, but trust me, you must fill this form and try to participate. And I did, because I trust in Laura, and I'm very happy for that. Well, the first day of this week, I say what I'm doing here, and I'm very happy to be here now, because I finished the whole week, and the things I do is more what I've learned. And always I read about open science, and now I have more idea of how is working. Maybe I couldn't achieve my personal goals at the beginning, but well, I read a lot, and I use the space and the smaller rooms to interact with other people, and to understand maybe the language. I have a new words to use, and I'm very happy and very grateful for all of you, because this is a great experience. So I hope in the future could collaborate better with actions, concrete actions, but I'm very happy. That's my work.
And you also translated the whole slide deck into Spanish. How could you forget that?
No, yeah. I use my time translating some presentations to the Spanish. So I wish in the next weeks we can present that in an event in Chile. So I'm very happy for that.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Marilina, can you add the link to the slides in the chat for others to see? Amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
And absolutely, I think it's our biggest achievement to have someone take the space to learn and read the stuff that we are creating. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to Sam. I'm wondering, Sam, can you speak? Okay, I'm gonna come back to Sam because it's too early to talk in his place. Let's take a break, 10 minutes, and we'll be back with, I'll check with Sam, but also just to have an open discussion.
Malvika, can I quickly ask, where in the Hack Emperor?
I'll just rapidly share. So basically what I've been focusing on was trying to get some pull requests that we opened in the previous book dash closed, because some of them are quite old and some of them are actually quite new, but on work that we've done more recently. And Jose Maria was very kind to review both of them. And we've gone through a couple of iterations of comments, review. So I think now they're ready to be immersed, and I'm just waiting for Jose Maria to give me a final thumbs up, and then I'll mark them as mergeable. So yeah, thanks to him for all the work that he's done, and thanks to everyone for an amazing book dash.
Can you introduce yourself and tell everybody
yeah,
who
okay.
you are and how you got involved, or in general, just a quick.
Yeah, sure. I wasn't sure if we were just reporting out or doing the whole. Yeah, so I'm Carlos Martinez. I'm a community manager at the Netherlands eScience Center. And I got involved in Turing Dash because basically at the eScience Center, we have our own eScience Center guide, which is basically very similar in spirit to the Turing Way, that we want to share our best practices in doing reproducible research software. One of the first things that we have in our guide is do not reinvent the wheel. I thought, well, why are we reinventing the wheel by having two guides that do exactly the same? So in the last year, we've been trying to move a lot of the content from our guide to the Turing Way in everything that is generic. So everything that is, this is how you use Git, we move that to the Turing Way, and things that are very specific to the eScience Center, like we use GitHub and not GitLab because whatever, those type of like eScience Center decisions we're keeping in our own guide, because those are more our choices and not general recommendations of this is the best way to do things. So yeah. Yeah. Anything else you would like me to say, Malvika?
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the coordination and work you're doing, because even though Carlos is one in the screen, he is coordinating with 4 or 5 people in the organization and assembling them to do the edits and reviews, and that's incredible. So thanks so much.
Yeah. Yeah, so we do actually at the moment there's not many people working on it, because we had our our guide sprints. We do our guide sprints on different dates. We try to synchronize them with the book dash, but it was not possible this time. So more work happens asynchronously, and we send pull requests as well. So, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I'm going to stop record this video. Let's just stop it.